it must look like the Bionic Man compared to my best, my absolute best.
Well, it's just a focus thing. I just been doing it since I was I started doing martial arts when I was a real little kid. So by the time I was 15 years old, when I really got obsessed, I was in the sophomore year of high school, and that's when I really truly got obsessed with martial arts. From that time, I've always been training. That's a long time.
That is. Think about it. Yeah,
and it's, for me, it's like, some people go and they play basketball. Some people go and, they'll meet some friends and they'll go play golf together. I go and do jiu-jitsu. To me, it's a normal thing. It's like, going to and training in martial arts. It's like, it's how I get my aggressions out. It's how I straighten my mind out at the end of the day. It's how when you're in the face of something very difficult, like sparring with someone, when you're doing jiu-jitsu sparring, you're forced into this sort of a moving meditation sort of a zone, and where you can only think about what you're doing. You have to figure out a way to manage your resources because you're in a hand-to-hand combat battle with a skilled man. Right. And you guys are going back and forth with each other and you're trying to choke each other. And it's very intense. But in doing that very intense thing, you lose yourself in the movements and you hit this sort of a Zen state, and you can only hold it for like a certain amount of time before you get fucking exhausted. And the key is holding that moment for as long as possible. Keeping it going for as long as possible. So you got to do like strength and conditioning and chin-ups and dips and fucking kettlebells and all this shit is just to get in there so you can go deeper and deeper with the jiu-jitsu. So you can tap people when you weren't tapping them, avoid being tapped when you were getting tapped. So you have to tune. It's almost like your effort and your will is what powers your race car. Instead of just being able to go to the track and get a new engine or whatever the fuck you do. No, your effort and your will determine what your physical body can do. So it's this crazy game that you get stuck and get addicted to. And this game is
even this
jiu-jitsu.
many years in, you're still
fucking love it. I love learning new shit, man. I love working with different kickboxing trainers and learning new shit because when you learn anything, I believe it elevates everything. I really believe that. I believe that the more excellence you can get in your body, in your mind, in your day, the better everything is. I think that the better you'll feel, the better you'll be. You'll project better energy out there. You'll be nicer to people. They'll be nicer to you. I really believe that. I think in getting great at something, in finding, even in just attempting to improve at something, you're always going towards the right direction. You're always using positive energy. You're always using discipline. You're always getting results. In improving anything, when you see those results, that reinforces this notion in your whole existence to push forward and be positive and create and resolve things and figure things out and reach your pinnacle. So I think all that stuff, like that's why I got this tattoo. I think it's all connected.
What is it? The Book of the Seven Rings?
Book of Five Rings.
5 rings.
Miyamoto Musashi.
I added 2 fucking rings in there.
Yeah, maybe you're the fucking next guy going to contribute to it.
What is the? So wait, what do they explain the title? The 5 rings.
I don't know. You'd have to really get into his.
I don't know how deep you.
I don't know what he.
So wait, this dude was a Ronin.
Yeah, he was a Ronin.
How does story end? What happens? He ends happily?
Fucking bangs bitches and writes poetry. For real. He just got tired of chopping people up and he wrote a book.
That was it. He was just like, I killed a lot. Now I'm just going to love
I wrote a book on how to be a carpenter and how to be a fucking philosopher and how to be in anything, really. Follow that book. It's an amazing book. If you can figure out, it's so hard when you translate from Japanese to American. To really know his words, you would really have to learn Japanese and understand the difference in the, the way things are worded. When you translate, you get a rough estimate of what the guy was saying. It would have to be in the context of his culture, and you take it in the context of the time that he existed. And it's an amazing insight into an exceptional individual. It's an amazing insight into like a guy who had reached a height clearly that no one around him had with this sword fighting thing, which is so intense. And there's no room for bullshit in sword fighting. You can't pretend you're better than you are. There's no bullshitting. There's no need to talk shit. Okay, this is all going down with steel that's going to be moving at like 50 miles an hour towards your fucking face.
Yeah.
You got to be absolutely 100% sure of the correct technique, how to avoid, and get in there and get your shit done and survive.
This is not tennis, bitch.
That's insane to live a life like that, fighting people with fucking swords, and to have done it successfully. I think it was 62 times. It was the number that he supposedly killed.
And then be like, it's time to become a writer. Could you
Yeah.
imagine somebody publishes that book and somebody gives him a bad review? He's just like,
There's occasionally there's a guy like that that'll exist in martial arts. There's these occasional guys that will stand out above and beyond all the rest. Hickson Gracie is the last one. He's the premier member of the Gracie family. You know, the Gracies. You ever heard of them for the Ultimate Fighting Championship?
No.
You're completely out of the loop. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm bare. I'm virgin mine.
Wow. I knew there was people like you out there. I knew.
Yeah,
I'd heard of you.
but that's not even just for UFC or mixed martial arts.
Any
like
sports.
That's any sports beyond hockey.
Beyond